So how's Valentine's Day today? Like, you guys got plans or what are you working on over there? Hey, buddy, welcome.
Dude, Nick, when did you get here?
Welcome. What do you mean? This is my house. When did you get here? Just now? We're filming a video, dude.
Oh, hey,
Hey, everybody,
welcome to Worship Artistry.
I'm Nick,
I'm Jason.
and he's here.
I'm invested. I'm invested in what I'm doing is what I'm
He's
doing.
very invested.
Are you investing in your team?
Well,
I'm investing in mine. With
I guess back to my original question. Are you guys doing anything for Valentine's Day? Today, as the filming of this, it's Valentine's Day.
I mean, we should probably be out serenading our wives or something.
I mean, I already did. So.
Oh, you're good.
I woke up 20 minutes before she did.
Oh,
I prayed for 20 minutes. Went back to sleep.
perfect.
I went before her.
Perfect.
Just like the Lord does before us.
The leader of the
The
household.
leader of the house.
No.
Exactly.
No, I actually didn't remember it was Valentine's Day today.
Really?
And then my wife came in and was like, "Hey, come out here." And she like made like a little cereal breakfast kind of a thing. She made placemats.
Oh, that's nice.
It was great.
That's nice,
We
man.
went for a walk. We're old. That's the thing. Like, you want to go for a walk? We're turning into my parents.
Let's just go for a walk.
Like day by day.
oh, yeah.
Oh, let's have breakfast together. Okay, let's go for a walk.
go for a
All right.
walk
Look
then.
at that woodpecker. You start talking about birds.
You start, yeah.
Wait, hold on. Let me give me a Merlin app. What is that?
Man,
So that's what's happening in my world. So romantic.
my wife and I do the same things. But it's with plants. It's like, what's that plant? We have an app that we take a photo of.
nice.
It's like, this thing is this from Ibiza. We're like, well, how did you get here?
I got one of those apps for mushrooms
Oh, really?
because you can do some mushroom foraging around
Yeah.
town. My friend Dana's really good at it.
I heard reishi mushrooms are good for you.
Really?
I don't know though.
I
But...
don't even know. I just know that I'll be walking with him somewhere and all of a sudden he'll just go, "Dude, that's a porcini."
Whoa!
So it's like $40. And then he just goes walking away. I can recognize chanterelles. That's as much as I've got.
Oh, yeah, I think I can understand lion's mane.
Yeah. I found a bunch of chanterelles mountain biking one time,
Oh,
and I
really?
was just like, this bike's paying for itself.
Well, I guess, and talking about paying for itself,
Oh, yeah.
we're talking about worship songs today, right?
That's right. Because that's how we get paid.
That's how we get paid.
That's how we make the big bucks.
Right, the big bucks.
Yeah, man. I was just loading the last song on Worship Artistry
Oh yeah.
that we did, and which is, in this case, Goodbye Yesterday.
Goodbye, yesterday. Get out of here.
Yeah, get out. Be done with yesterday.
And again.
Yesterday was
and again.
lame. Yeah, again and again and again. But yeah, I was loading this up. But I was thinking recently, like I've had a lot of conversations recently with people who are, we've talked about how there's some jaded worship musicians out there.
Yeah.
And one thing that gets said all the time about worship songs is, oh, they all sound the same.
Right. Yeah.
Or they all sound like you two.
Mhm.
Those are the two main things I hear.
Yep.
Do you hear any other, are there any other stereotypes?
Not in the way of like the music sounds the same or that's all I hear.
Yeah.
Sounds like you two, or it's all the same.
Or it always repeats the bridge?
Yeah, there's way too much reverb. There's too much delay. Things like that. Which
You clearly hang out with guitarists.
yeah, I do, yeah.
Like actually the effects on that guitar, there's like
That's
there's
funny.
about 2 milliseconds too long on the delay.
Yeah, you hang out with way more songwriters than I do, right? When I just hang out with guitar people, it's like, oh wow, the new. That's so funny. I've never. Yeah, that's funny. But no, I have not heard really any different things.
Sure.
Honestly,
But it's a lot of that, right?
Yeah, a lot of that.
So I actually thought it might be kind of fun to just look at the last 5 songs
Okay.
on Worship Artistry, because I don't know, I feel like I understand where that comes from, but I also feel like things are changing.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, why don't we just pull up the last few songs and figure out, do they sound the same?
Mhm.
And if they do, why?
Right.
Because I've got some ideas how you can change it
Oh, okay.
if you're frustrated about how you feel like all worship songs are the same. It
Yeah.
might be your fault.
So let's check out the first song.
All right, so Goodbye Yesterday. All right, you've heard this one
All right, yeah,
because we did the
just talked,
video. Yeah.
Hands up!
You can have my money.
You take it all.
Okay, what do you think right off the top?
I mean, it's got good energy. It reminds me of older, like Hillsong.
Sure.
Kinda.
When you say older Hillsong, when are you talking?
Like early 2000s. Like the song Break Free is what I'm thinking of.
Gotcha. Okay,
Take
check
It
this
All.
out. So this does this riff for a really long time, but check it out later. Now we're getting some of that like dual rectifier
A
tone
little
in
bit,
there.
almost. Yeah, it's a little heavier than normal, I would
Right.
say. And by heavier, I just mean more gain.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't
Because
mean,
you talk to guitar, you only hang out with guitars.
I only hang out with guitars. Jason, what is your main instrument? We hang out a little bit.
It's guitar.
It's guitar.
It's guitar. I do. But
No.
we hang out a lot.
Yeah, we do. I do like that song actually. It's I don't know if worn me down is the right phrase to use, but it kind of has. Because at first I was like, that riff goes on forever.
It does. But yeah, like so I listen to that song and I go, it doesn't really fit the zone of
It doesn't sound
that sounds like a worship song.
it doesn't sound like U2.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like I expect it to sound in that world.
Yeah.
But it's also Elevation Rhythm, which is, it's more youth oriented,
Right.
right? Younger folks
Yep.
doing their thing. Let them do it.
Doing
The
their
song
thing.
feels like it's like 10 different songs in one song.
It really does.
And you just kind of go like, but it works.
It gets very busy towards the end too.
Yes.
There's like this either double bass or like bass and tom thing they're doing. And I remember when we were filming the playthrough, I was like, Jason, I don't know how you're not messing up. like there's so much.
You got to
going
stay
on.
so focused.
We knew that song, right?
Right.
So the
How
next
about
one,
next one is Give Me Jesus by Upper Room.
let me take a guess on what this is
Okay.
going to be like. So it's not the Give Me Jesus that I know that came out years ago, or is it? Just
I don't know.
Okay. Well, if it's
I
that-
think it's newer-ish.
okay.
I know it's at least a couple of years old.
Well, I'm assuming it's slow. It's going to start with like a pad, probably.
See, now you're starting to be like, what does worship sound like?
Yes. Well,
Starts with a
that one
pad.
just screams give like we're like let's sound like all the other worship songs.
What if it's
Well, then I'm wrong, and
Give me
I'll say it.
Jesus, give
Well, that'd be
me
kind of cool. Like,
Jesus,
give me Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that, but I bet it's gonna be a pad intro.
All right, well, let's find out. Here we go. Give Me Jesus by Upper Room. 1 point for you.
I don't want anything but you.
That soft whisper voice.
You're more than every dream.
I feel the air.
come true.
A lot of 2K in there.
All of the
Just boosting that air.
things I thought I wanted don't come close to knowing you.
I think this is about half the speed of the other song.
Now that I'm yours and you are
Sounds like a good song. Sounds.
our love is
All right, let's jump to the chorus here.
Give me Jesus.
So it's the same, but it's
Give me Jesus.
yeah,
Okay, we know what's going on with this.
yeah. It's like that the rest of the song, pretty much.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's going to carry that. through.
Is there any like tom things towards the end?
We did the studio version because it's only 3 minutes and 57 seconds
Gotcha.
versus the live version, which is 8 minutes and 29
Yeah,
seconds.
one's a little better,
So I would venture to say that one probably goes a little bigger.
a little bigger.
Kind of goes somewhere with it. But
Yeah, with a title like that, that's what I thought of was just
I mean,
Okay.
it had Jesus in it, and you were like, it's probably
it's
going to
probably
be.
got pads. That's the Holy Spirit. No, okay. So I think maybe a better way to say all worship sounds the same. People should change what they say to Christian radio sounds the same, probably.
Okay.
Because that is a type of song that, they're trying to get money back on, right?
Sure.
But to say all worship is the same is kind of ridiculous to me, because so far we've proven it wrong. These are just the last 5 songs we've done, right?
Right.
Just
Yeah.
ran,
Just
like-
the random,
Yeah.
the last 5.
Yeah, we're not like putting any order or anything like
Right.
that. But yeah, anyway, like a title like that kind of just tells me it's going to be more for like CCM, probably.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's going to be for more like intimate type of worship moments.
Right.
Well, yeah, that was a good song. It's not something that's like I really am thoroughly enjoying. But
Well, it stays pretty mellow, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think a lot of times we picture worship songs as like, they all just go to the ceiling.
it's true. Yeah.
And, but I think that's, once again, it's one of those things that's like, Goodbye Yesterday starts at the ceiling.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And almost like breaks down,
Mhm.
right? Give Me Jesus, the radio version, doesn't really ever get to the ceiling. It kind of, if it's a 1 to 5 on a scale of intensity, it kind of ends in like the 4.
Right.
It kind of gets up there, but it's pretty chill throughout. You know?
Yeah. It's a good song.
Okay, next up,
Okay.
That's My King, CeCe Winans.
Can I guess what it's like first?
Sure.
Okay. Judging from her other songs
Okay.
only, because I don't know this song, this one too is going to have a pad intro.
Okay.
And it's, but this one's it's pad intro, but more upbeat than mid tempo. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep.
That's what I think.
Yeah. She usually brings more energy.
Yeah.
I think right off the top. Like, I feel like the songs, at least that we've taught of hers. I mean, so she did Worthy of It All.
Okay.
That one is kind of more of like what I think of as a more like straightforward worship song.
Yeah.
That's what I can sing, which is like when I was able to do it, I was like, woo.
That's a great one.
And people love it, man.
That's
like
good. It's good.
there are people that come up to in my church every time and are like, I love that song.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I know. It's a good
Brother
one.
Jason.
All right, that's right. Here we go. So this is That's My King.
Okay. Well, I was wrong. In one way.
Yeah, but that,
It's upbeat.
it's not like Goodbye Yesterday upbeat.
No,
It's,
no.
It's like, it's a
But
great like starter song.
It's not like Give Me Jesus.
Yeah. The tone of her voice is just
Awesome.
it's like so much there.
So we're into the chorus here.
Yeah, this is a pre-chorus.
Pre-chorus.
And here we go, chorus.
This almost has a southern rock feel.
A little like,
Yeah.
I think that's a B flat in there.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
That's good. I like that song a lot.
Yeah. Sound like you too?
No. No. I was trying to go somewhere.
I'd love to hear Bono go for it, Like,
Yeah, right.
he could probably belt it.
That's my king.
Yeah.
That's my king, man. I'm Bono. Like, hello, everybody. Like,
Perfect
I
impression.
thought it was.
I thought Bono was in the room for a second.
Hey, whoa.
What?
It's just me.
Dude, thanks for coming in, Bono.
Ooh, I'm here.
All right. So there is That's
a
My
good
King.
one. Doesn't sound like you too.
Nope.
And it's a little bit more upbeat.
Yes.
It's a good, like you said, it's a good opener, I think.
Yep. And then
3 songs, right? That was 3
That was
songs?
3. Yep.
3 different songs, in my opinion.
Yes. And then
And
let's
again,
go
these
number
are just random.
right.
Last 5.
Let's go number 4. Okay, next up is The Dove by The Belonging Co. I never know if it's, do you say company or do you say co?
I would say Co.
And Carrie Job, because they're doing that one together.
Kari.
It's kind of like, okay, the game for Nintendo, the main one, the original Nintendo, the first game it came with Duck Hunt and this other game. What do
Yes.
you call that game?
Duck Hunt and Dig Dug? Was it Dig Dug?
That was Atari, man.
Oh.
I think Nintendo, the most popular. There's like Mario Kart, but then there was the original was,
Mario.
but what was it called?
Mario's World.
Super
Mario World.
No.
Super Mario Brothers.
There you go.
Super Mario Bros.
That's what I was curious about.
Okay.
Because my kids call it Super Mario Bros.
Yeah, I say Bros.
And
Super
I'm
Mario
like,
Brothers.
it's brothers. I always think brothers. Anyway, completely irrelevant to this conversation.
No, it's totally
But I was
relevant.
just curious.
Belonging Co. or company.
What are the kids saying nowadays?
I've always just called it Co. for some reason.
All right. Well, what do you think The Dove is going to sound like?
It's going to sound just like Give Me Jesus. It's going to have a pad intro. It's going to have quiet something like a guitar maybe or
Sure.
piano probably.
All right, let's give it a listen. It sounds like it's going to be pretty.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I feel like you call something The Dove, it's not going to be like
No.
aggressive or whatever. Let's give it a shot. Nailed it.
I mean, it wasn't just a pad at first, but close.
But it's in there.
It's yeah.
It doesn't do the swell first
Yes,
and then
yeah.
the piano. It all starts at the same time.
God was there at the beginning, His Spirit brooding like a dove, spoke the earth into
I mean, I just love her voice.
Yeah.
from creation.
No, she brings. I remember I was in college with her. She was like a freshman, I think, when I was a senior.
You went to the same college?
Yeah. And I just left music ministries. Otherwise, I would have gotten to play with her. I was trying to focus on other things at the time.
Sure.
Yeah, it's where we all belong. Holy Spirit.
Does it change? Is this the chorus?
This is the chorus here.
All we need is more.
I love this chorus. I think it's
We want
very like singable, and let's hear what it sounds like later though.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Obviously, it's cool. Obviously, it's very driven. The drums are huge.
Yeah.
It's got this huge wall of sound guitar. But I think that's what people are referring to.
That's what they're talking about,
When
right?
the
They're talking
wall
about that
sounds the same.
sound.
Yeah. That and Give Me Jesus. And-
Ga, 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 ga,
yeah,
ga.
yeah. It is cool, and people do. It is easy to. Okay, so for instance, when I'm sitting in church and they play something like that, and I'm like, I don't want to be into this, but it sounds really nice. Like, I really like that, you know. And the reason why I don't want to be into it is because of my personality. It's like this sounds like everything I've
You're a little on the contrarian side.
been a part of, and just. But I do like it, you know. I'm like,
Right.
oh man, I can see why people are really into this right now. Like, it's so good, and but yeah, I think people are referring to like that's what is the same, 'Cause
Right, there's kind of that.
It's got like a formula to
Right.
it, in my opinion. So real quick, just to recap, so we've had 4 songs, 2 similar, 2 totally different.
Right.
Gotcha.
All
So
right.
this next one is
Is called The Lord Will Provide.
The Lord Will Provide. Okay, so this one's going
And it's
to
by
be
Passion.
This one's going to be a little more upbeat, but it's going to be probably standard upbeat, like, you know, closer to 80,
Sure,
but
sure.
not surpassing it. It's not going to start with a pad.
Okay.
That's my
Okay,
take.
next day. Not start with the pad. I feel like it's got Passion. I feel like is really good at writing big songs that don't follow that other formula. Like there's
Yeah.
something about they just know how to have these like kind of belt out choruses
Mhm.
that don't necessarily need the long build up.
Right.
I feel like that's kind of their specialty.
Mhm.
And they can do like upbeat songs and it works. You're
Yeah,
not like, I can't wait for this song to be over so we can get to the good ones.
No, for real.
So
yeah.
this is The Lord Will Provide.
Dang it.
What?
I was wrong. Started out with a pad.
I was like, did the camera stop?
I'm totally wrong about this song.
I mean, you were like 4 for 5. I mean, I love that 6/8.
Yeah, I like that. It's very bouncy feeling.
I don't have to wonder. You know what you're doing.
Feels very singable.
Yeah, I've not heard the song, but I really feel like I could sing along to it already. That's the pre-chorus.
Let's just declare this together. Sing everything I need, everything I need. My Father has it.
I already know this.
Yeah, right?
Effectively. Because I don't know the words, but the melody's gonna be the same. It's gonna repeat.
It does, and it does what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
You're not going to surprise me and shock me.
Yeah.
It's just going to be like, got it.
This is good. This is a good one.
Yeah, I like this one a lot. I was teaching it.
Is it kind of like that the whole song then?
Yeah, I mean, it'll.
Oh,
Is that slide guitar
Yeah,
in
that's
there?
cool.
Because I'm a guitarist
yeah.
first.
I'm terrible at slide.
Yeah.
Because I'm a guitarist first.
It's actually really fun to teach because
I'm
there's
sure.
like a couple cool little riffs in there. And,
Yeah.
but
That's
yeah.
cool. I think I liked that one the best, but then CC Winans closely second.
Yeah. But I mean, bottom line is like, I get it. There is a thing that we expect, but I think also sometimes it's because we're all listening to the same
Oh, 100%.
bands,
yeah.
right? Like, so if, my guess is, and I don't know, we haven't taught a whole lot of upper room songs. I think we've taught a couple. Like, they're going to have their sound.
Yeah.
And that sound has the keyboard pad and kind of does all those things. CeCe Winans, she's going to have her sound. And it's going to sound different.
Right.
But like, if I never listen to CeCe Winans and I only do, if I only listen to Upper Room songs and we only go like, oh, we are only going to do Bethel and Elevation.
Right.
Or whatever. You're going to go like, oh, well, this all kind of has the same thing. Because generally you tend to like lean towards a style.
Yep. Even like on a record, like I'll listen to, I'm like, there are 3 good songs on this record and they sound similar.
Yeah.
And I have to give it like a 6-month to a year window to be like, no, this whole record's pretty good, actually.
Right.
It's just, I really gravitated towards those songs with the mood I was in that moment. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And yeah, so like quickly talking about like the history of what I've seen, not like we don't have anything in front of us, you know what I mean? Like, it's just in the 90s, you had it was wild to me. Just there was saxophones, there was flutes, there was
Right. There's
all kinds. There's
like Hillsong before
Yes.
Shout to the Lord.
Correct.
Like,
Yes.
that was
yeah.
just like, they almost sound like TV, like sitcom intros.
Yeah. No, for real. I was listening to a song called Longing for Your Touch, and there's just this awesome, it's killer. It's a super cool song, really. But it does have that amazing, like, Family Matters. Like, like here we are. Hey.
There was a song that was called, I think it was All Things Are Possible, that we used to play in college. And dude, the whole band, whenever it'd come on, your praise is always on my lips. Dun, dun, dun. Like,
Heck yeah.
the whole band would just be like,
oh, yeah. Yeah. The TV shows, it makes you think of like a sitcom
Right.
thing. And that's because that's what the TV shows sounded like.
Right.
That was a popular sound and popular culture, right? And so then moving to the 2000s, that's when like, Shout to the Lord, was
Right.
very, very popular, right? I
right.
would say.
Oh, man, I remember the first time we played that song in church. And it was like,
we're all shouting,
whoa.
and throwing our hands
then
up.
that key change hits,
Oh,
and you're
yeah.
like, what?
And like Planet Shakers is coming around, right?
Right.
And so we're having some heavier tones with like Break Free after the Shout to the Lord kind of era of the, I don't know, contemporary type of service kind of. Well, that's what my church called it. We had traditional hymnal, contemporary, and modern.
Oh, yeah.
3 different bands. I was in all of them for
That's
some
a lot
reason.
of work.
It was terrible. But yeah, we would play like Shout to the Lord a lot. And then the modern service, we would play Jesus Culture when they started getting real big and stuff like that, which was a lot of fun, and that was really cool to have the differences. But because I was involved in those 3 bands and I'm talking about it, I was never aware that music sounded the same.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, within this service, these songs sound similar.
Right.
Within this service, these songs sound similar. And within that one, guess what? Those ones sounded similar as well. And guess what happened? Each service was like a different decade. We were catering towards seniors. We were catering
So
towards...
it was more of a time
Correct.
than it was
Yeah.
this is all the same.
Within the 2020s, we now sound similar this way. Within the 2010s, we sound like Bethel or
Right.
something.
Mm-hmm.
And in the 2000s, we sound like Hillsong. And then before that, it was just a sitcom and just whatever you want to do. Oh, gosh, I'll tell you what, though. These Are the Days of Elijah really hits hard.
Oh, okay.
Love it. Yeah, anyway, does that make sense, kind of how it sped through that?
Yeah, for sure. Like I do think that it's, we say all the time, worship is not a genre.
Correct.
I'll go to my death saying that.
Yes, you will.
You're like I heard it so many times. But it's true. But people still treat it like one.
They do, yeah.
Right. And I think that's because, like you say, like, well, how does the industry work? Right. Like, well, how do you hear songs? You hear it on the radio,
Right.
or you hear it on a playlist or something of like sounding songs.
Correct.
Right. So that's the way, like, the algorithm gives us music. That's the way radio gives us music. So that's the way people produce music.
Mhm.
And this is popular now, so we should do it that way also.
Right.
And it's not until I think you have, you kind of have 2 other sides of things where I think you can get so big that you can do whatever the heck you want. Like
Sure,
take
yeah.
like a Delirious, for example, right?
Okay.
So I look at Delirious when they did the Cutting Edge, and it was like, did you feel the mountains tremble? And that was like, what is this? Like it was just a whole different world. Stu G will say, like, we weren't even a worship band. We were just a band
Right.
in England. And then we came to America and they were like, no, you're a worship band. Like,
Mhm.
all right.
Okay.
Whatever. I
right.
can't speak in a British accent. I don't know what that is.
Let's go have tea.
Stu would say it so much cooler.
He would say it so much.
But at the same time, they made those records, Live and in the Can and everything. And then they came out, I think it was Metamorphosis.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And dude, that record was totally different.
Right.
And it was like, I'll sing that song in church. I can use that because
Mhm.
this band already has a name, right?
Right.
So I think you have that, and then you have the other options of like, I remember, years ago there was a band called there's Water Deep that did an album called Enter the Worship Circle,
Mm.
and there's some songs that it was just funny. It was like, it was not a very good recording.
Sure.
They did it live. There's like a loud djembe through everything,
Oh,
and it's
sick.
very like mellow and but like there was a lot of good songs on there, and then people took those songs and went and did other things with them, right? They were just doing what they were doing, which was totally different, and people
Gotcha.
went, "That's a good song,"
Right. Yeah.
and then took it and it went somewhere.
Mhm.
So I do think that's kind of how things change, right? Somebody comes along and does something totally different that people connect with, or you have something where you're like, I mean, Elevation kind of does it. Like they used to be like, here's our whole album, and now
Right.
they're like, it might get loud and rattle, like all these things that you're like, whoa,
What's going on?
wasn't quite expecting that, but they'll still give you
Right. Yep.
the other stuff as well, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just kind of the way music works.
hmm
But I think
For
what
sure.
happens is with worship musicians, we're playing the same songs all the time,
All the time.
and we play them every Sunday,
Mhm.
and we hear them every Sunday, and like and then we're practicing them, and we're doing all that goes into them, and so it does all start to blend together.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, okay, so how do we keep from feeling
No, that's good. That's good.
like it's all the same and getting really bored?
So I do have a question. How do we keep it?
Wait, no, I asked you first. This is the way conversation works. I asked you
okay.
a question,
Oh,
and
my
then
bad.
you answer, and then maybe you throw it back.
Gotcha.
To me.
Yeah. So how do we keep it from not feeling boring?
And maybe boring is not the word. Like not feeling repetitive.
Repetitive. Okay. Well, I first think that we truly need to look at, because I'm familiar with Planning Center online and scheduling and stuff like that. I'm going to use terms like that.
Sure.
So, for instance, what's a song that we just, Forever by Bethel. Do you remember that song?
Mhm.
My church just nailed that one to the cross and kept it there. It's still dead up there. Like we just really outdid that song. It was great, but we really outdid it. But the church loved it,
Mhm.
and the musicians. Like I remember somebody coming up to me and saying, "Hey, we're doing this a lot. I really hate this song." And I was like, "Okay, cool. Well, let's look at Planning Center and how often we have planned to this song." And it was only like maybe 4 times over the whole year. But it was like a new song at the time, so we really practiced it a lot
Right.
up front. And then we kind of held off on it, and then we finally played it, right? But the average musician for church, at least where I was at, we had a midweek service and then like 4 services on Sunday. So we had 2 practices before the services, midweek and then right before services. And then we had the 4 services. So we're running through those songs probably 4 to 8 different times throughout the week and the Sunday morning service rehearsal. And then Sunday morning services, there's 4 more times that we're going to do it.
It's a lot of
So within
times.
that week, we're playing that song probably close to 12, maybe 20 times within your individual practice. So I think it's really vital to look at that data and understand that and be like, wow, holy cow. Because a lot of people I don't think are aware of that,
Right.
even though they're doing it.
Right.
But they don't really look at it and think, oh, I just played this a billion times.
Right.
But that the person who doesn't play in the band, who isn't involved like you are with the music, they've only heard it 4 times that year. They're not going to all 4 services probably, unless they're serving,
Right.
whatever. But like they only heard it 4 times if you scheduled it 4 times. You need to get off your high horse. That's kind of how I think you need to get over it personally. But if it is getting boring for the band or repetitive rather, that means you're getting really good at it, probably, hopefully, right? Because
Ideally, yes.
Ideally, yes.
Or just playing it poorly a lot.
A lot, and just getting really good at being bad. Yeah, because you practice anyway. But hopefully, you've played
Sure.
it well and you've gotten better, right? So by this time, you're comfortable with it,
Right.
And you can look at the other musicians and kind of like do your head nod or whatever, however you guys talk to each other. If you have an MD or if you guys just do the head nod or whatever, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care. but you can start to communicate in a way that tells the person like, hey, we're going to go try something or we're going to do something a little different, or you just plan for something
Sure.
a little different. Right now it's really popular to do like the major two, right? And so, yeah, maybe
Wait for it.
wait for
Here
it.
it comes.
Major two.
Major 2.
What?
That's going to get old real fast.
It will, yeah. But it's really popular right now, so it's maybe try something like that, or maybe try a key change, or just throw something that's a little different in there.
Dude, a good hit.
Yeah.
Like a stop.
Yep.
And then a land off. Like all of a sudden that becomes something everybody looks forward to.
Yep. There was actually one lady I was watching the other day. She's a bass player. They were doing a very popular song, and then they ended up just going to the one and doing boom, 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 but like hits on it.
Yeah,
Everybody's
yeah.
doing the hits on this one, and while they kept going with like the chorus, and I was like, this is nuts. It sounded really cool.
Yeah.
But I was just like so taken off, and like, where did they come up with this? And it was just a little thing that they did. They just stayed on the one instead of moving the progression. The music stayed on the one. The singers kept going, and so did the drums. And it was really cool, actually, because it felt like things were like being ripped apart almost, but then all of a sudden came back together.
Yeah, there's a part in, I just taught the song No One Like the Lord. That'll be released on Worship Artistry soon. But there is a part in like one of the later choruses that they just change the chord and they do that similar thing where they're just hanging on it and you're like,
wow, that's pretty cool.
I
And
like this part,
it's
like
such a
I
simple
will
thing.
do the rest of the song just for that moment.
Right, yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
And I loved it because it was so
Not that
simple.
the rest of the song is bad. but
Sure,
just-
sure. No, I understand what you meant.
You're like, oh, wait for it.
But yeah, so I think it is on us to recognize that as the musicians on the worship leaders, we play it a lot.
Yeah.
But it's for the congregation as well, and we're practicing to get good. And so, because you've said it, I've said it too. Nobody really wants a bad band. Like it doesn't
Right.
sound cool. Like
The congregation doesn't want it. The band doesn't want it.
Even if they're being nice, like no, this was good. They still like a good band. Something that sounds good is good.
Yeah.
And so anyway, yeah, you have to recognize that, but then you also have to get out of your comfort zone when you're being very comfortable in those moments because you know the song so well.
Right.
To not make it repetitive for you. Like for instance, once you know the song super well, like you got all the parts down, maybe try a different delay. Like just start there if you're the guitar player.
Yeah.
Since I'm a guitar player,
Me too. I also am a guitar player.
yeah, maybe just start there. Very very small something, or like figure out a way to use a big reverb and not have it sound like completely thin when you shut it off. Then
Right.
because that is a talent, a skill that a lot of people do have and a lot of people don't understand. Oh, I can play worship, turn the big reverb on. Well, then I turn it off and it sounds thin.
Like, wah, wah.
Well, you got to figure out how to mold and go into all of these things. It's like a flowing thing, in my opinion. So that's how I would handle
Sure.
it. But what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's all really true. I think just to kind of reiterate your point, when it comes to practicing, I notice when I'm teaching the tutorials is like there's a sweet spot of where I go from like this unfamiliar song I'm trying to learn to like, ooh, I know it and I like it.
Right.
To I messed it up 5 times and now I'm on I'm on my 17th time shooting the music video and I never want to hear this song again.
Correct. Yep.
Right. So there is that spot. So some of it I think is knowing kind of the right amount of time to spend on something, right? Like how can you speed up your learning process so that when you're learning it, you're not getting tired of it,
That's true, yeah.
We have a website that does that. Worship Artistry kind of
is.
helps you, right? But
I would say that's like one of the main purposes is to help musicians just be better.
Yeah,
And
just
to have
enjoy
a lot
leading
more
worship.
confidence. Yeah.
have fun with the music, right?
Yeah.
But like it really comes from like, man, even if I know that like my guitarist is gonna hit this riff, I know they're gonna hit it.
Mhm.
Then that gives me freedom to try some other things.
100%.
And like if we can count on each other, if we understand the song and we learned it quickly, that is something I think that makes a big difference. The other thing I like to do with my teams, because my teams are all very different. Like I have my rock band team and I've got my, like mostly vocal team. And then I've got my team with some strings and like, they're all different. And so I really try and lean into whatever their skill level is and whatever their like unique gifting is, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, if you're this phenomenal string player, I'm not going to make you play this riff this way. I'm going to go, tell me what you want to do on this. and let's find ways to kind of highlight that and emphasize what you're good at.
Right.
I also like to do like kind of one of my main tricks is I love to just make a couple rules to follow that like break what normally happens. So for example, we were talking about those songs and it's like, okay, keyboard.
Yeah.
Right in the top, always pad. Like we even have words like, all right, we're just gonna pad this one in.
Yeah.
I'll pad this out. Like
Yep.
like a keyboard pad it's a nice little safety net, right? It
Oh,
fills
so
a
nice.
lot of space.
It does.
But you know what? Sometimes it's just kind of like, well, what if we didn't have a keyboard pad?
Right.
What would we do? How else would we fill that space? Right. So it causes everybody to play differently because we can't just lean on a keyboard pad and play super sparsely. Maybe we need to be a little bit more intentional and maybe we come up with some parts that we really, really like.
That's good. Yeah.
Right. And so, so making rules about like, let's just not do a pad for this song or let's save the pad for the chorus
Yeah. That's
or
good.
whatever, you know? I know as a guitarist sometimes, because I'm a guitar player.
you're a guitar player.
I play guitar.
Yes,
I
you-
lead on guitar.
Nice.
Sometimes I forget my capo.
Mm.
And honestly, I love when I do that
Oh, really?
because
Go
I
play
have
some
to
bar
just
chords?
play totally different. Well, and
Yeah.
I'll usually find some weird voicings or we'll change the key that we
Oh,
don't that we
gotcha.
normally do or it just forces me outside my box.
Yeah.
And when I'm forced out of my box, so is the rest of my team. But we've played well enough together that we know how to play off that. Oh, you're going to play it that way? Okay,
Right,
I'm going to do this. And all of a sudden, my other guitarist comes up with something super cool that they wouldn't have come up with if I was capoed.
Correct.
So I think like just making small changes that allow your team to be creative really open up how things can be. Because it's not, you're still you.
No, for sure.
You're still going to play like you.
100%.
But just kind of it exercises that part of your brain that goes like, oh, I'm stepping out of my normal zone and I do something a little bit different. And it turns out that's actually both challenging and fun.
So let us know, how do you guys change things up? How do you make it not repetitious or boring, as I called it, for you, you know, in all of these songs that you're doing? Because
Yeah, what are your tricks?
Yeah, I guarantee it's going to be different than my church and then Jason's church.
And I'll try it. Like,
absolutely.
Like I'm always looking for something new.
Absolutely, because one thing I do know is there's nothing new under the sun, but I don't have all the ideas. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so your idea could spark something in me or you, or it's just like, oh shoot, I need to shift my mindset just a little.
Dude,
like
I had,
this
yeah,
thing.
that was like a legit in the moment.
In
like,
the moment, yeah.
wait a minute.
I was picking the brains up, man. It was wild. You just, you know, and I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
Jason, put this back.
That's right.
Yeah,
Back in. We're
yeah.
good.
All right, good. Thank God, man. Yeah, let us know and
Subscribe.
yeah, do all of those things.
Ring the
because
bell.
We need you to.
Yeah, we need that. And go check out Worship Artistry.
Please.
We do have like 700 song tutorials.
Is it over 700 yet?
Maybe.
Maybe. I bet it is.
I'm just rounding.
It's 900.
It's close. It's,
We have 1,500 songs.
yeah, 15,000 actually.
Wouldn't that be wild?
Gosh, that
How many
I'm-
worship songs are there? Do you know?
There's a lot.
I think
I
our
mean-
friend Uriah Gray, he has a CCLI number, and it's like in the millionth.
Oh yeah, I'm
Like-
sure there's.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a one, just like like CCLI song number 1.
Well, we better call George.
I was gonna say let's call George. We can find out.
That's funny. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna go find George. We're gonna find out what was CCLI song number 1. You guys do all the stuff you're supposed to do. Talk to us in the comments. We'd love to hear it. And like I said, check out Worship Artistry. We got a few songs over there. And you know what? Just learn the opening riff.
Yeah.
And then be creative with the rest.
Have fun.
Or just learn every single note for note, and sound just like
And
the
have
record.
fun too.
It's
that way
really
too.
up to you.
It
Enjoy
is.
it. So we'll see you guys next time.